How you doing there? I'm Professor Lawrence.
I'm Professor Brianna.
I'm Professor Alex.
Today we're going to give you a fun, amazing lesson on
Covalent and ionic bonds.
And the periodic table.
Hey, I didn't see you there. You know what bonds pretty well? Me and my pals. You know what else bonds? Chemicals. And you know how? Here's how.
Hello there. Well, today we're going to be talking about bonds. And you guys might have some of these bonds in your own household. Like syrup and pancakes, or Hebrew National hot dogs and buns, or some Nutella with crackers, or like what I'm eating, cereal and milk. Well, those were just normal bonds. Now, let's talk about chemistry bonds. There are two types of bonds. There's covalent bonds and there's ionic bonds. And we're going to be talking about covalent bonds. Covalent bonds are two nonmetals that come together and bond with each other. And they have what is called a
Hey guys,
prefix.
you guys already got the rundown about covalent bonds. I'm going to teach you about ionic bonds. Ionic bonds are bonds that form between a nonmetal and a metal. To balance them, you do the crisscross method, and they'll end in IDE. Some examples are calcium chloride, sodium chloride, potassium iodide, and magnesium oxide.
Since you guys know a little bit about chemical bonds, Professor Brianna and I are going to give you some examples and teach you a little bit more about them.
Some ionic examples are if I take sodium Na plus fluoride equals sodium chloride.
Covalents are H2 plus O will give me liquid water, which is H2O.
If I take magnesium Mg plus O, I get magnesium oxide.
Take C plus O2 will give me CO2, which is carbon dioxide.
If I take potassium K plus iodide I get potassium iodide.
If I take N plus H3, it will give me ammonium, NH3.
Oh hey there, I thought we lost you.
Don't be silly, Professor Brianna. You've been with us the whole time. But that's besides the point. Now that you guys know about bonds, both equations, now me and Professor Brianna are going to give all of you some examples of how to balance them, okay? Now balancing, you gotta make sure it works the whole time, and here's how.
Me and Professor Larry have gotten some examples for us to balance. He's going to show you how.
Hello, so here we have a combustion example. I'm going to show you how. Here's some tips on how to balance. An equation will not work out unless it is balanced. So I'm going to grab C6H12 here. It's the biggest. We're going to put a 1 there. See how that works out. If we have the 1, it's showing me that I have 6 carbon atoms and 12 hydrogen. Okay? So now I have 6. I'm going to put a 6 here. Now that is 6. There's an imaginary 1 right here. But we don't need to put that. Alright? So this 6 is also telling me now that I have 6 times 2, which is 12. 12 oxygen. So I can't put a 6 here because I have another O here. So I have a 12 here. 2 times what gives me 12? If you said 6, then you're correct. Put a 6 there. Now that means that I have 12 oxygen atoms and 6 more times that 1, that's 18. So 2 times what gives me 18? I think 9. Does that look balanced to you?
Yes.
I agree. Here we go. We see that there is no numbers bigger than 1 here. So I'm just going to go. Is that a ground C too?
Yes.
It is. Thank you. So now we have sodium, aluminum bromide, aluminum, sodium bromide. How can we balance that? Let's again use our technique of grabbing the biggest numbers and starting off there first. We'll put a 1 here, alright? Now, 1, put a 1 here. 3, we'll put a 3 here, and a 3. Does that balance to you, Professor?
Yes.
I think it does. Now, to balance, we should use these techniques all the time. And if we do, we will never have an unbalanced equation. Hey, Brianna, what time is it?
It's about 1.
It is about 1, huh? What do you usually do at 1 o'clock?
It's time for some chemistry.
Chemistry, yep. I think it's time for a chemistry quiz, folks. Me and Professor Brandon here are about to ask you some questions and see if you can answer them. Have you been paying attention the whole video? I don't know, but let's find out. What is the 2 main differences between a covalent and ionic bond? 10 seconds on the clock, please. Time's up. If you said that a covalent bond is between a nonmetal and a nonmetal, and a ionic bond between a metal and a nonmetal, then you guessed correct. Professor Brianna, go ahead and ask me the
What
next
tip
question.
did Professor Larry give you with balancing equations? 10 seconds on the clock.
If you guessed that my tip was grabbing your biggest element first, then you are correct. Another question for you guys on this CheMystery quiz. So, if I get Na, sodium, and chlorine, Cl, and put them together in a chemical equation, what kind of bond would that be? 10 seconds on the clock. The lunch today was rather good. I enjoy the fine Mexican rice they have here. If you guessed ionic, then you are correct. Thanks for paying attention and joining us on our CheMystery quiz. Professor. I'm Professor Lawrence.
I'm Professor Alex.
Professor Brianna.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of
CheMystery Kids.